So we kind of talked about how your deadlift mechanics are very solid. You do a good job pulling out the slack, pulling the weight or you into the weight, like your wedging and everything is good. But sumo is a little bit different than conventional because you need to try to get yourself as on top of the weight as possible versus having it out in front of you. So what I mean by that is right now, your stance is slightly more narrow, and of course like your stance width is going to depend on your hip mobility for everything, but you're kind of like you're pointed more so forward, and what that's going to do is you can't really get close to the bar that way because your legs are going to be out in front of you here. So you're kind of doing quasi, I guess it's like a frog stance, if you will. So what we need to do for you is, instead of having you so close in and over here, I want you to open up more so you can be closer into the weight. What I would say for you is every bar is going to be different, but I normally line up my shins where the ring is, the splits and knurling, and you want to point your toes towards the outsides of the plates. So I get everything here, my toes pointing out, set this foot, toes pointed out. But you can see, like, now the bar is pretty much directly underneath my balls, versus if I'm here and it's more forward, you see how far away the distance is now? So I just need you to open up a little bit more here. Then what that's also going to do is put you in a more optimal torso angle, because right now, if you're in and you're more forward, again, you're kind of treating it like conventional where you're thinking about the weights out in front of you. But for sumo, you want to try to make yourself as upright as possible and then turn it into a leg press. So again, open up, toes pointing towards the outsides of the plates, and then try to get your chest up as hard as you can, and open as you're coming down. So it's creating that lateral pressure. And then once you're able to reach, you already know what you're doing. Pull it up on the bar, pull the weight into you, stand up, squeeze. So let's kind of, I guess, figure out a comfortable stance for you, and then we'll see where you're feeling it. Hopefully in the hips and the adductors instead of the low back.
I don't know why I like for some reason keep my feet so straight too, because I naturally am like put in, and it probably would feel way better if I just pointed my toes out more too.
And everybody's different. Like, I've seen people use that stance that you're doing, and they can move massive weights. But for your sake, if we're trying to get it, get the pump out of the low back and into your legs.
Yeah.
And then again, as you're coming down, focus on opening your whole Gucci area.
Oh man. Wow.
Yeah.
I know. Holy shit.
Yeah, I know.
Wow. Okay.
So open up, like, think about consistently driving your knees out, and now try to get your hips as close into the bar as possible and get your chest up as hard as you can. Good, and then squeeze the hips that way. Good. Let's do one more. Cool. And now, get yourself into, and that's gonna be like a trade-off, right?
Yeah.
The wider your stance is and the more pointed out your toes are, the harder it's going to be for you to balance.
The bar is going to be what balances me for the most part.
Yeah, exactly. But what's it called? The more forward you're facing, like the more in your toes are facing, then the weight's going to be farther away from you. So it's either you're going to have to struggle with the balance, or you're going to have to deal with struggling with the weight because it's farther out.
Okay.
So let's get to the stance one more time. Good, toes pointing towards the outside of the plates. Cool. Now, lock out your arms, and as you're coming down, again, create that lateral pressure out. Pull the slack out of the bar, and now I want you to pull up and pack all this in. And use your erectors to get your chest up higher. Yes, then stand up, squeeze the hips. 2 more. Good. Nice, and relax. And I guess let's check the footage and see how it's looking for that. Because I honestly, I think this filming session is going to be really short for you because you only have to make minor tweaks.
Yeah.
Versus if I was training like a newbie, I have to go over the entire thing.
Yeah.
On the rings, good. Toes a little bit less pointed out. You want, this big toe right in. Yeah, there. Lock out your arms, and then as you're coming down, drop the knees out to open the tank. Good. Pull the slack out, and then use those erectors to get your chest up. Good. And then stand up, squeeze glutes. Nice. 2 more. Good. Last one.
Everything hurts, bro.
Yeah. I get thrust more. I mean,